President-elect Donald Trump meeting with Republican senators today in Washington to discuss their reconciliation strategy. Trump still keeping his options open on the best way to implement his agenda. Watch.
Well, I like one big, beautiful bill, and I always have, I always will. But if two is more certain, it does go a little bit quicker because you can do the immigration stuff early. I'm okay with spending cuts. I just don't want to see a default. That's all I want. I never talked about spending more money necessarily than all I want to see is no default. But debt ceiling is not about raising a lot of money. It's really just about extending it. I just want to see an extension.
Donald Trump and the Republicans campaigned on lowering grocery prices, but apparently their top legislative priority is to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. And if you don't believe me, let's look no further than Marjorie Taylor Greene. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, this is not a joke. It's not an exaggeration. We now have the top legislative priority of the Republican Party in 2012. We know because we've seen Trump repeatedly back away. Well, you know, I said prices are easy to get down. We'll have it done. We'll have it done so quickly, your head's going to spin. But actually, it's like really hard, and I kind of can't guarantee it. But as a consolation prize, America, we might rename a body of water. So we're going to play this clip, the genesis of this, which was a Mar-a-Lago press conference yesterday by Donald Trump, in which he made the remark, and then MAGA Republicans pounced on it, ran with it, and apparently it's their top priority.
Mexico's really in trouble, a lot of trouble. Very dangerous place. And we're going to be announcing at a future date pretty soon. We're going to change because we do most of the work there and it's ours. We're going to be changing sort of the opposite of Biden, where he's closing everything up, essentially getting rid of $50 to $60 trillion worth of assets. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate. It's appropriate. And Mexico has to stop allowing millions of people to pour into our country. They can stop them. And we're going to put very serious tariffs on Mexico and Canada, because Canada, they come through Canada too. And the drugs that are coming through are at record numbers.
Wow, that's great. Of course, the immediate follow-up from reporters should have been, so wait a minute, this is where your priority is. This is what you're focused on. Now, some people stupidly would say, well, it's just a joke from the incoming president. Well, again, incoming presidents, their words matter. And so we should probably be very careful about the joke, except it's not a joke. It's officially not a joke, courtesy of top Trump MAGA Republican and elected representative in the House of Representatives, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
January 20th, and I was so fired up watching the press conference today when President Trump said that he's going to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, that I directed my leg staff to immediately draft legislation, and we are entering it right now to officially change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. And Congress has to do this because we have to fund the name change in maps. We have to fund the name change through all types of, like the military, FAA, et cetera. And it's absolutely the right thing to do. We change post office names all the time up here. You better bet we are absolutely going to change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Let's go.
This is why I say, and it's a fact, and anyone who says otherwise is just objectively wrong. They will always lose the debate. We will always win it. Elected Republicans are inferior at governing. They suck at it. As a matter of fact, to the extent that there are any real successes under the Trump administration, they will be inherited. Successes from the Biden administration. As you know, we are seeing drastic policy changes which go into effect. So not only are President Biden's infrastructure projects manifesting, continuing to manifest in 2025, and Trump and Republicans will take credit for that. but also, for example, the tranche of the first 10 prescription drugs, which President Biden permitted Medicare to negotiate by way of the Inflation Reduction Act, which was again a Democratic piece of legislation. Those prices go into effect this year. Trump will be taking credit for that, even though he had nothing to do with it. Low unemployment, he had nothing to do with. He'll take credit for it. The $2,000 cap and out-of-pocket expenses from Medicare, he'll take credit for that. Marjorie Taylor Greene will take credit for that. But again, I just want to be very, very clear. This is not a joke. This is their priority. Read my statement and build text. Mexican cartels currently use the Gulf of Mexico to traffic humans, drugs, and weapons, and God knows what else, while the Mexican government allows them to do it. And she literally produced a bill to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. This is where these ridiculous attention-getting culture, war nonsense, that's their priority. Not lowering grocery prices, not putting corporations in check, not doing anything to lower healthcare costs. It's just a coast on the accomplishments of the Biden administration that they simultaneously attack and deny, until Trump's in a position to say, oh yeah, I'm in charge now. All those bridges and roads and all that, that's because of me. All these prescription drug prices, which are being negotiated by Medicare, that's because of me. These $2,000 in caps for out-of-pocket expenses, it's because of me. They have no interest in governing the country or following through on the bulk of their CE campaign promises. And as a matter of fact, yesterday, I had the chance to speak with Democratic Congressman Dan Goldman, who took that point and made it even better. He added further evidence to prove that elected MAGA Republicans don't give a damn about kitchen table issues. They never did.
In their, I mean, it's preposterous. And in their, but I'll take it even further. In their rules package, which they passed last week, which sets the rules for this Congress, they also included 12 bills, 12 pieces of legislation that basically are approved through the rule, which means that they can be brought to the floor of the House. None of them have anything to do with pocketbook issues, with affordability, with housing, with the rising costs of medical care and health care, with the rising costs of child care, with paid family leave, with basic fundamental benefits that, you know, is the bare minimum that we should be offering Americans in this country so that they can get access to the American dream, and nothing on education. It is just a continuation of the culture battles that they are lifting up and amplifying, and that, you know, frankly, we don't spend many time talking about here. When we're talking about the prescription drug prices. We're talking about the infrastructure bill and rebuilding our roads and bridges and bringing us into the 21st century. I'm talking about offshore wind and all of the incentives created for renewable energy in the Inflation Reduction Act.
Elected Republicans do not give a damn about your kitchen table issues, about your pocketbook. They certainly want you to believe they do. They certainly are happy to take credit when these things start to be addressed in one form or fashion, but they have no interest in expending political capital, precious political capital, to making your lives easier. They're much more interested and much more financially and politically invested in doing the work of Elon Musk, for example, the world's richest man, an unelected MAGA billionaire who's the de facto president-elect. Their priority is to rename the Gulf of Mexico Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is not a fluke. She's not an outlier. She's emblematic of the Republican Party offered legislation to do it. You heard Dan Goldman, no legislation and the rules bill to to deal with these kitchen table issues. It's the culture war, because Republicans are very good at waging culture wars. They're very good at getting attention. They're very good at setting the media narrative. They have their talent. They have their cunning. They are formidable opponents in the realm of politics. That's why they won this last election, no doubt. But they suck at governing. And you might think, okay, well, maybe they're just trolling. Well, they continue to talk about it as we speak.
Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of America, again, and I've spent some of my best days on that water. I don't think the name of it is as important as how we're going to handle the law enforcement in that area. There's a tremendous amount of illegal activity that occurs in that body of water, and I think that, the president is intent on stopping, whether it be the illegal fishing and the cartels are illegally fishing in that Gulf, or the illegal transit across the Gulf that's bringing, narcotics and drugs into our country. So whether it's called Gulf of America or Gulf of Mexico, I care more about the enforcement mechanism in that body of water, making sure that the illegal activity is stopped.
Yeah.
Wow, that would be great if you could get that through to your leader. And even now, he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. This is Representative Scott. He's a member of the Armed Services Committee, the Rules Committee. He's incredibly influential, and he's still paying lip service to the idea that we should rename the damn Gulf. How about grocery prices? How about energy prices? You all swore that you would get this down. Donald Trump's hyperbolic promises about how he'd get it done in no time make your head spin. And that's why as I told Congressman Goldman, Democrats need to be relentless on this. The day Donald Trump takes office, he swore within 24 hours the Ukraine-Russia war would be resolved to the satisfaction of both parties, that he would immediately begin getting grocery prices and energy prices under control. The day that doesn't happen, Democrats need to pounce. Don't assume facts speak for themselves and make the case to the American people that these people care much more about the name of a body of water than reducing your water bill. It's just a fact. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to help boost this video and you enjoy, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you're stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments or just say, hi, thank you for your support. And until next time, I'll see you soon.